Welcome back to another episode of the Purple Rain podcast. I'm about to say the report. I was about to get into the report real quick.
I know. That was
The
a good one.
128th episode, and it's the Mike Davis episode, I believe. Brand new running back, and I think he was all on the press conference with Ravens today. The Gary Baxter episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Yeah, throwing it back there for you. Hello, defensive back, by the way, very underrated. And I am so happy to be back with just the Rain Gang because we are live again. We had a little Purple Rain report last Friday. Love those. And we also have a special guest with us tonight, so I'll let my guy Sutton Def bring him in whenever he's ready. But yeah, if you're new, like the video, and as always, subscribe.
Yeah, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, of course. Hit the subscribe button if you are new here and you're enjoying the content tonight, or if you've enjoyed any of our previous content, you haven't hit that sub button yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast, like you see down below right there. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, like you see down below as well. And then this guy over here in the right-hand frame, you can find him on Twitter at simplyas10 and on Instagram at simplyas10.prod.
Yes.
Now, like my guy Alex said, we do have a very special guest here tonight on the Purple Rain Podcast, and can't wait to bring him up. So I'm not going to waste any more time. This is somebody who I've been watching personally for a couple months now, and he's a film guy. He's a coach, football consultant. Like he does a lot with the game. He knows the X and O's. Is what I'm trying to say.
He's Himothy.
He's Himothy.
Himmy
Butler. We said the
Himmy
same
Johns.
thing. That's a jinx. Himmy Johns. Oh, that's a new one. I like that one.
Yeah.
Himmy Johns.
Yeah.
I like that. But let's not waste any more time. We're going to bring up from YouTube all 22 films, aka Coach DC. What's going on, Coach?
What's up, guys? Thanks for the introduction. I hope that was a compliment, not a backhanded compliment that I don't understand.
No. It's a very good compliment for sure.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks. Love what you guys do. I don't always get the chance to watch as much other people's content as I would like to, just because of the time, commitment with what I do. But I appreciate it. So thank you guys for having me on.
I get that. It is Absolutely. A pain getting that content out. I see I missed one of the Terrence West episode. The Towson alum like myself are going to Towson. I don't know how I missed that. Literally, we went to the same school. I don't know how I missed that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to all the news because today was a big news day for the Ravens. Like it was nonstop. Like it was insane.
Yeah,
those are some quality references you got there with Gary Baxter, Terrence West. Everybody wouldn't get that, so I like them
for sure.
We like to call ourselves, or at least Alex for sure. He's definitely a historian, being the highlight goat of YouTube for sure. He definitely looks into the past, players and things like that. So we appreciate him. But yeah, the Rain Gang showing you love, Coach. So we want to go ahead and get into all things Ravens and your insight, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and do that. But make sure before we get on to that, you can follow or subscribe rather to Coach DC on YouTube at all_22_films, just like you see right on the screen right there. If you want some really, really nice breakdowns from somebody who actually knows the X's and O's of football, go subscribe to his channel. He's a big Ravens fan. He breaks down pretty much all things Ravens. He's been going crazy over the offseason, especially. So make sure you go ahead and catch up on his videos because I'm definitely enjoying them. I'm definitely enjoying them a lot. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into some Ravens news here. And you guys know how we do here on the Purple Rain Podcast. We bring up the Purple Rain Report, brought to you by Manscaped, the #1 nation's leader in males personal hygiene. You can go on manscaped.com and save 20% off your Manscaped order if you use our code PRP, just like you see right there on the screen. Not only do you get 20% off, you also get free shipping on your Manscaped order as well if you use that code PRP. So make sure you head over to manscaped.com, place your order, use our code. Thank you.
Do it.
All right.
Three letters.
Absolutely. So first thing we want to get into for this episode's Purple Rain Report is the fact that JK Dobbins is back. Dobbins is back, man. So you can see Adam Schefter tweeting here early this morning. Ravens running back JK Dobbins is being activated today off the physically unable to perform list and is on track to be ready for the Week 1 regular season opener versus the New York Jets, per sources. I want to start with you, Coach. What is your biggest takeaway from J.K. Dobbins being seemingly healthy and ready to go for Week 1? What does that do exactly for our offense and our running game?
Well, two things. I mean, it's obviously it's a morale boost for the team and the fans, us. I mean, you can see the excitement level online on social media, at the announcement, and the talent boost. No disrespect or not to denigrate, the running backs that we had last year. But if you took J.K. Dobbins and you transplanted him, if we could do such things, and we transplanted him back to last year's team, it would change the dynamic, immensely. Just having another threat back there. I think he was really coming into his own at the end of his rookie year. I felt like, now granted, the teams we played in the last 5 or 6 games of 2020 were not good teams. Jacksonville, the Giants, the Bengals team that, wasn't that good at that time. And JK really, to me, put on a show. But he also had a great game against the Steelers his rookie year. I thought he was really coming into his own. And hindsight is 2020, I feel like we didn't need Mark Ingram that year. From a talent standpoint with JK and Gus back there, I feel like it's a huge asset to have him. He's never going to be a 24, carry a game guy because that's just not the way the NFL is now. Yeah. But certain games he can be. He can be a guy who gets you 170 and really takes the brunt of the offensive load, which we need that. We need to take some of that off of Lamar's shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think about J.K. Dobbins, and one thing that just stands out to me is that Tennessee Titans, there was that goal line play, and he absolutely ran over, I forget who it was. Was it Vaccaro, I think, from the Titans? Just ran him over for the touchdown and just flexed on him. I think we missed that too. Just what he brought on the field. He's not the biggest guys, but he has the biggest heart when he plays, and it's hard to take him down. He'll fight for contact, fight for yards.
Yes.
I missed that. I missed it immensely last year. And like you said, seeing him back, just the boost, I feel like today was one of the few days we've had in recent years where it was just, we were happy to be Ravens fans because such a crucial piece of our offense. He's back, not 100%, but he's back out there just getting working.
He's hard to hit solid or hit square. Yeah. And even when he does, even when there is a player in the hole that he picks to go through, he's still able to get another 2 or 3 yards. It's obviously all NFL running backs are incredibly talented, but his level, his ability to make people miss and get another 2 or 3 yards is something that we need so that some of those 2nd and 7s end up being a 2nd and 5, and then we're still on pace offensively. I think that's the big key. We're going to get big plays out of him, but it's the what should be a 3-yard run, he turns into a 4 or 5-yard run and helps keep us on track. We didn't have that last year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's very important with down and distance, like you said. And I mean, me and Alex, we talk about this a lot on the show. And you kind of alluded to it, all 22, Coach DC. His balance, J.K. Dobbins' balance. I mean, if you can't hit the guy square, and even if you do, he finds a way to churn out a couple extra yards, which is what we love about him. Yeah. My favorite thing about him personally is the burst that we saw in his rookie season. I kind of go back to that touchdown that he had against the Bengals. You guys all know what was it, like 60 plus yards or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. Listen, he was running by guys, just running straight by him, and it was just that to me was a sign that we've got our guy. We've got our guy at running back that's going to take that pressure off of Lamar Jackson. It was so unfortunate that he got hurt last season. So I'm very excited to have him back for sure. Definitely.
Big piece. It feels like we're, I always make basketball references in my videos, and J.K. Dobbins to me is like, maybe he's not a number 1 scorer on an NBA team, but he's definitely a number 2. Forgive me for the background noise. Hopefully my son isn't making too much noise, but he's definitely a number 2 if you make an NBA comparison. And we missed that last year. Lamar missed that. There was too much pressure on Lamar, and as the season went on, we cracked. As an offense, we cracked.
Yeah.
And something I remember from last year's in the training camp, he was being touted like he was just improving his craft, but also improved his hands out the backfield. I remember there was that picture that went viral of him just. I think he was he mossed. I think it was Malik Harrison, and we're like, this is the J.K. Dobbins we're gonna get. He's gonna be lethal at the backfield. He's gonna improve his hands out the backfield as well, catching. And we know what happened. That too, as I'm looking forward to is having that threat to catch out the backfield, because that can just be another part of our offense. I remember we talked about it last year, that can open up maybe another part, just the short passes out the backfield, because we didn't have that at all last year. Very minimal. So that is going to be something I'm looking forward to as well.
And that's a somewhat missing element from our offense in the first place, really, which is kind of what you're saying. But I think it's almost a missing element just from the scheme standpoint.
Okay.
There's teams that we can attack, with the running backs in the short passing game. Me and Sutton were talking about it, pre-show, that other teams in the league, you watch how they attack certain defenses, and we don't do it that way. And it's kind of one of those things that, yeah, JK Dobbins is absolutely capable. You're absolutely right. Our coaches got to kind of co-sign that and just start doing it. Start doing it a little more often. Tyson Williams had that last year. He did that early in the season. He had 2 real nice catches against the Raiders in week 1, and then we just kind of went away from it.
Mm-hmm. That just frustrates me already. But watching the film, I can imagine how that would frustrate you. Man.
Yeah. And another thing that I think that J.K. Dobbins will definitely benefit from is just also the threat of having Lamar Jackson as a potential rusher out of the backfield as well on top of him. And then whenever Gus Edwards gets back, Gus Edwards, he has very, very underrated, I think, a very underrated skill set, because, yes, a lot of people see him as like a hit the hole north-south kind of runner. And he is, for a very long stretch, he had no plays with negative yardage. But at the same time, he's definitely shown strides in the passing game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Remember back at that Giants game where he caught that pass, broke 2 or 3 tackles, up the sideline, outside the numbers for a running back.
Great catch.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that J.K. Dobbins, he's going to benefit from having other guys that defenses are going to have to worry about coming out of that backfield, especially being Lamar Jackson. I mean, Lamar Jackson, he's the guy where, in practice the week of that you're playing the Ravens, you have to dedicate a whole day to kind of simulating what Lamar Jackson can do. Meanwhile, you got a guy like J.K. Dobbins, who's the actual running back on the team, who's really about to tear you up. So that's what I'm mostly excited for. That's what we were missing last year. I mean, what was it? Who do we have? Latavius Murray and who was the other one? I'm sorry.
Freeman,
right? Devonta Freeman. I mean, both of them averaging 4 yards a carry respectively. That's cool, but it's also average. I'm looking to get back to the J.K. Dobbins 6+ yards a carry.
Yeah, those two's numbers are insane. I mean, you mentioned Gus. Those guys are both 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're both 5+ yards per carry guys in their entire career.
That's
insane. And Gus, like you mentioned it, Sutton, a little bit. He's a good guy to run the option stuff, which is downhill because he hits his track. But then when we run stretch stuff, which we do run a little bit of, prior to this year, I firmly believe we're going to a zone scheme. And other people don't believe it as much as I do. I think you can see markers of it on film. And Gus and JK Gus is what we call a one-cut guy, which means he's going to make one cut and get downhill. And he's decisive. And most of the time his decision is going to be the right one. When it is wrong, he's still going to be able to get 3 or 4 yards because he gets his shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage and runs downfield. I love both of them, man. I can't wait to see them both back healthy for their sake and our team, because they both have great careers ahead of them.
Yeah. Man, those are some really good points, honestly.
Yeah, our rushing attack is something else. And then when you put it like that, too, it gets me just even more excited. Because I think now we have our first preseason game on Thursday. And we're not going to see either one of them, but I'm going to just talk about what happened today in practice. I think Justice Hill had a 45-yard touchdown. I think it was a catch and run. And I think he's forgotten about, too. I'm one to think he's the odd man out, but to hear that, I mean, could he make it now? I mean, because Gus won't be healthy, it looks like, or be ready for a couple of weeks into the season, maybe more. They say JK will be back week 1. Not sure about that, but who knows what our running back room will look like. But everybody's looking to perform, so that's something to keep my eye on, though. Especially
there's so much depth, depth.
And Clement, I heard, it's turning heads too. It's everybody.
When you watch the open practice from last week, and I watched it probably like 3 times, at least the team sessions, Clement and Batty are bigger than I thought. They, especially Batty. I had this notion that he was like this small kind of scat back. And I was like, no, he's actually, to be honest with you, for the first 10 minutes, I recognized Davis because he's huge,
Right.
So I knew who Davis was. But then, I couldn't figure out who the other guys were based on numbers. So I had to pull up another tab and look at the Ravens roster and go, oh, that's Batty. He's not small, No. And to your point about Hill, I feel like we have a lot of guys who can contribute. Hill is such a great special teams guy that there very well might be a play. I feel like Hill is a top 10 or 15 guy in the league on kickoff and punt teams. He's a great special teams player, not just a good one. So they got some tough decisions to make for real.
Yeah, it's funny. I was there at the open practice, and they gave us these little things that has all the numbers on the back of people. Because I was looking at them too. I'm like, who is the numbers? I'm like, all these people. I'm like 31. I thought it was Jefferson. He went back to 23. It's Clement 31. It was everything going on.
You probably had to do that for everybody except like Kyle Hamilton because he's 6'4", and Calais
Yeah.
Campbell, Ben Cleveland. Like it's easy to pick those guys out.
I didn't know what number Beatty was wearing either. I felt like a fake fan for that one. I really did. I forgot we had Nate McCrary too. I see him out there. I'm like,
Yeah.
look at all
Oh,
these
yeah.
running backs.
They gave him some random number like 47. I was like, why is he at 47?
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's see what the Rain Gang is saying here in the live chat. We do have 78 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of PRP, the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 128. Wow, come a long way. Still going. We got our guy Coach DC in the house. Make sure you scroll down to the description, click on the link there. You can subscribe to his YouTube channel. Now listen, we do have a couple people chatting here in the live chat room. Let me see. Garnett West actually says, so there I was watching an all 22 video, and here he is on the Purple Rain Podcast. That's crazy. Yeah, it was meant to
What's
be.
up, Garnett?
Thank you.
Emmanuel says Harbaugh loves special teams too much to let Hill be the odd man out. I mean, I think that like Coach said, he's not just a good special teams player, he's a great special teams player. And we know John Harbaugh with his special teams background, if he sees a great special teams player, that player is damned to special teams, especially if we have listen, talk about come on.
He had a couple of catches from Sam Cook on special teams as a gunner, would get down the field fast, speedy, make a hit.
Yeah.
I find a spot for you.
Got to. Let's see. 410 Byron says those linebackers and edge rushers, they got to worry about Pat Ricard as well. Yeah, I mean, Pat Ricard in the run game, I really like the way that we use him. I like, the fourth and short situations where we can give Pat Ricard the football. He just kind of takes it over the line of scrimmage. We can kind of send him on, like we talked about, Alex, there's been entire drives manufactured around Pat Ricard and them utilizing him in the offense to get points. So I'm very excited to see what he has to offer as well. I mean, there's just so many factors in this Ravens offense. It really does get me excited for sure.
That's a great point that there's been, the Pat Ricard issue is in some ways similar to James Prochet. It's polarizing. Let's be honest. There are people who are pro Prochet and anti for whatever reason. Same thing with Ricard. But you make a great point. I'll be honest with you, I had never said it like that there have been entire drives built around how teams are lining up and playing us with Ricard on the field. So that is a great point, number one. Unfortunately, I think there have been times where the opposite is true. We have very specific and very obvious tendencies when Ricard is on the field, and there are defenses and there are times where they've taken advantage of that. But you can build off of your tendencies. You can use them against people too, and hopefully that's one of those things that's happening. It is a little frustrating for me sometimes when, we've got Ricard on the field with Gus, and we're just running straight lead. Lead just means the fullback leading, for the tailback, and the defense is like keyed up on Ricard. So the times when we do go away from that, like run Ricard to our left and run the ball to the right, it opens up, like parts like the Red Sea. So I'm glad he's on the team. But I really, really am excited about the younger tight ends and seeing them be on the field kind of a little more than Ricard this year, to be honest with you. I'd like to see us use Ricard less early and more late. So those tendencies aren't as obvious when we do get to, week 12, week 14, et cetera.
And it's funny you bring up the whole pro anti-Prochet because I'm neither. Maybe I'm pro Prochet, but I think it was your tweet today how we got separation, and there is so many anti-Prochet guys out there. It's in my comments a lot. I see it, and I don't know what he's done to people, but people just don't like him for some reason. I've seen.
Well, I think that is because Prochet, he's not two things. And when you look at like a wide receiver, if you look at a favorable wide receiver, you want one of two things. You want him to either be big or you want him to be super fast. Prochet is neither one of those things. Prochet is not, the tallest guy, biggest guy with the biggest frame, catch radius, all that. He's also not the fastest guy. He's not going to blow by, basically every corner in the league. He's not that guy. But what he does do is he actually runs routes really well, and he finds space in coverages, and he has great hands. So if Lamar can learn to trust him, if they can build a rapport early, then I think that Prochet can definitely be a beast this season.
I agree, man. I agree. It's kind of frustrating to see people say things, about, all professional athletes for real, but specifically someone like Prochet, who there's video evidence showing you that like pre-practice and post-practice, this guy works on his craft. clearly works on his body. To me, he looks 10, 12 pounds heavier this year from a muscle standpoint. I mean, he's one of those guys that I didn't see prior to this year. He's got his shirt pulled up, showing you his shoulders and his biceps, and those that wasn't the case last year at practice. He's showing you what the work that he's done, and his hands are impeccable, man. I have him for one drop last year that I saw, and I actually put it in that tweet, Alex, if you watched it. But other than that, but that was a sliding catch, where the ball was maybe thrown a little low anyway. I feel like James Prochet is like a machine. He's just not. If it's in his catch radius, he's going to catch it. Period. The catch. Did you see the last play in that video, Alex? If not, it's no problem. But it's against Cincinnati. A linebacker hits him off balance.
Yep, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's thrown behind him. That ball should not be caught. That ball should not be caught. He twists his body back the other way. That's a very rare catch, if you ask me, even in the NFL. I don't know that there was 10 catches like that all year.
I can think of one other, like the Terry McLaurin catch against the Chargers. That's the only one I can think of that was like that. That's the only other one.
Good memory.
Good point. Yeah.
I actually have to. I got to go back and reference that play that you guys are talking about because I can't remember it off the top of my head. So I'm gonna watch that after this.
It's a forgettable game. I mean, I don't think most of us would remember that second game against the Bengals.
Oh, with Josh Johnson.
I know I don't want to.
Yeah. We do have a couple people here in the chat. Let's see. All Day Esco's in the building. Says, "What's up, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on, Esco? Appreciate you for pulling up, coming through as always." Let me see. Sip to Tally Films. Coach is in the building. What's going on, bro? Says talking about Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I think he was talking about when I was discussing Prochet and the whole favorable wide receiver thing. I want to say that's what he was referring to. But what's going on, Coach? Hope you're doing well. Let me see. So let's go ahead and transition to our next slide here on the Purple Rain Report. So Tyler Linderbaum.
Oh yeah.
Injury issues already. It's we don't like to say the I word here on the Purple Rain podcast, but here we are again. So it was said that what was the news the other day, Alex, that they came out with Linderbaum? Because this is the most latest stuff. Yeah.
It was. He went down. He went back to the locker room, just didn't come back out. That's all they really gave us. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So today it was reported Harbaugh at his press conference said that it's this understanding that Linderbaum does not have a lisfranc sprain, which was the rumor. He said there's an issue with a ligament in his foot and believes that nothing has changed with timetable, which he has said is a week or two. So, yeah, that's good news. Of course, every day in training camp and practice, these preseason games are important in getting ready for the season. But it's better that we have just a 1 or 2 week, layoff of Tyler Linderbaum as opposed to maybe a couple months or so. But I want to get you guys' takes. How does this impact the center position on our team? Say he isn't ready to go for week 1. Who's there? Is it Makari? Is it TCC? Who is it? So what do you guys think?
I'll let Coach take this away.
I mean, it's first of all, whenever someone says a week or two, there's multiple ways to interpret that. Does that mean that in 2 weeks he's ready to go full contact in practice? A lot of times, just from in my experience, that's not what that means. That means that in 2 weeks he'll be able to begin practicing at some level, and maybe we let him. Well, for example, you see it with JK, although the nature of the injury is obviously different. JK's out there doing individual drills right now, and I would suspect he's only going to be doing individual drills or offense-only drills, which is offense on air, no defense. I don't see JK Dobbins out there running the ball against our team defense tomorrow. I don't see that, or any other day. So I would suspect, it sounds like to me, Linderbaum would be returning to practice within a week or two and maybe limited contact-wise. I think it's a big loss if he's out for any period of time. And I really like Patrick Makari. I think Makari's the guy, first of all, to answer your question. But I think even Makari, I think, is a drop-off. If we're going to a zone scheme or even a stretch scheme, which I think we are, I think that it's a hit because Linderbaum is so quick. You even heard Michael Pierce reference it in an interview where he was kind of taken up for Linderbaum, saying, hey, man, on those reach blocks, what he means is Linderbaum's trying to beat him to the play side, get his head outside of Michael Pierce's head, basically control him, prevent him from getting to the front side A-gap. And I think it's a huge loss for real. And I think that if he's out for week 1, that would be a problem. That'd be a real problem for us because we're weak on the left side of the line. If you ask me, our left guard, left tackle position is one of my areas of concern.
Yeah, true. And that's been like something we've been discussing all offseason is that left guard position. especially but Ben Cleveland just getting back, but going back to the center, yeah, this worries me. The 1 to 2 weeks, John Harbaugh, you know how he is with his little updates. I don't even know how to interpret it sometimes.
Right.
I'm definitely worried. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, because this is our first round pick. I want to see him on the field, and we've talked about how rebuilding this line, the Great Wall of Baltimore, the Great Wall of Lamar, like how important it really is for offense. I mean, for the running and the passing game. And yeah, hell yeah, I'm scared. And it kind of sucks because I was so happy getting JK back, seeing Tucker resign, and then the whole lisfranc, hearing that word, I think of Hollywood and how his first season, with the whole injury, how he wasn't 100%. So yeah, I'm scared. Not gonna lie. But we do have Makari. But then that leads me is, so would right tackle, would that be Falele starting? If Stanley isn't ready, then we had Morgan Moses at left tackle. A lot of questions that we're going to have and that we need answers to.
Absolutely. We do have our first super chat donation of this episode coming from Brent Loren. Thank you so much, Brent, for making it rain here on episode 128 of the Purple Rain podcast. We appreciate you. Says, I didn't even see Coach was in here. Shout out to all 22. Yeah, shout out to Coach.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach.
What's up, Brent? Yeah, Brent's one of my Patreon supporters. Thank you, Brent.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Thank you so much, Brent. We appreciate you. But yeah, just kind of talking more about the one more thing from my guy Garnett. Says 94 viewers means 94 likes. Come on, you guys, like the video, leave a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you are new here and you are enjoying the content on this episode. But yeah, just kind of getting back to the whole offensive line issues. I mean, the offensive line right now, it has more promise than I would say it did last year at this time. Just Alejandro Villanueva is one name that will haunt me for the next couple of years. Just knowing how much of an absolute turnstile he was at times in protecting Lamar Jackson. So that left tackle position is going to be my area of focus. I have that position under a huge magnifying glass right now. I'm really hoping that Ronnie Stanley can be ready to go for week 1. The thing is, we don't know. They kind of, like you said, Harbaugh's updates are very vague. We don't really know what they mean. You can interpret them in all sorts of ways. But he's been saying that things are looking good for Ronnie Stanley. Like he's kind of on track. What are our true expectations, honest expectations for that left tackle position? Like Coach, I want to ask you here. Do you think Ronnie Stanley, I can't really ask you because I guess you wouldn't, of course, you're not in the Ravens training camp, things like that. But I don't know, because we saw him rushed back last season.
Yeah.
I just don't know, like, what do you think what direction do you think we should go? Do you think we hold him out a few weeks? Do you think what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a tough decision. I mean, it seems like a long time, dating back to last year for an injury, the way it was described to not, be healed 100%. But we don't know what his procedure, what the ladder of in terms of increasing, the expectation on what he's supposed to do. We saw the videos, or at least I did. I saw the videos of him running on a beach somewhere like 4 or 6 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, that's encouraging. He's able to put pressure on it like that. I think, if they have any concerns, we won't see him for a while. If they have any concerns at all, and we won't know anything until he gets into practice. Obviously, the ceiling, well, I guess the floor and the ceiling are different with Ronnie Stanley at left tackle. I will tell you from the open practice. Well, Alex, you said you were there, so you can tell me what you saw. And I didn't look at offensive line numbers, but in my I did a reaction video to a practice, which seems weird.
No.
And I said 2 or 3 times, I said, it seemed like the defense was getting pressure off our left side often. It seemed like they were attacking. Yep. Yeah, and I wasn't trying to denigrate James, or I think Sharp may have been over there for a couple of reps, and I really don't know a lot about him, other than the fact that we were getting beat off edge rushes, so outside, not necessarily just speed rushes, but it seemed like we were getting beat off of those often. Ricard actually messed up the pass pro scheme once as well, and if we didn't have Stanley, we'd have to help out more over there. And I even have pointed this out in my videos. I don't mean to be anti any player, but there's been some times where I see Ricard in pass pro, like it looks like he's supposed to help out on the edge, and we miss him, So there's times where I don't think our protection schemes are meant to have help for the tackles. I feel like our protection schemes are the type that we're asking the tackles to go ahead and win those battles out there, And as you saw with Villanueva, like you referenced Sutton, we didn't help him out enough last year because it's almost like that's not built into our offense. So, I don't know if you guys have anything to add there, but you have to adjust when you have someone like that as your starting left tackle. And I didn't think we did. And hopefully we don't have to this year, right?
Yeah. I hope not. And I'm going to back that up even more. I saw today in camp there was that I think Jackson took a safety, I believe. I think Owe got to him. Justin Houston, they said, was in the backfield a lot. So it sounds like they are getting that pressure on the edge. So something you got to look out for, personally.
Yeah. And we're in there. I don't know if you get how much you watched some of my videos or other people's, but, one of the things about being in the pistol so much, and I don't know if I'll be able to explain this very well, so forgive me if I don't. But the ball is kind of like the ball's there to be seen, okay? And the ball doesn't move a whole lot, meaning Lamar is 3.5 to 4 yards deep, and then when he drops back to pass, he's going in a linear path, so he's going straight back, generally on the midline. The rushers, in a lot of ways, can just pick their spot to get to, just like a drill. Like you see those one-on-one pass rush drills. Mm-hmm. I wish and I hope that we do go to like an under center system where we boot Lamar out off the play action, because now we're creating some conflict in the defensive ends. Like, do I run down the line to tackle the running back going away from me? Could be a run play away from me, or do I veer off and go after Lamar because he's such a run threat? But that absolves Lamar of those reads. And I feel like your tackles, your lesser talented tackles, can still be effective in that system because you're not asking them to just pass pro 30 times in a game and win that battle 29 or 30 times. Instead of just a drop back pass, it would be a stretch system where, he's moving and you're creating the conflict in the DN. So that would be, if we don't have Stanley, I hope we'd see more of that to help the tackles out. But we didn't do it last year, so.
And we've emphasized like going under center, I think, since we started this podcast. That sounds about right. Like we've wanted it for a while and just has never happened. I know you talked about it in the open practice video because I recognize that too. I don't know if they showed it, but we did have a couple of pre-snap penalties, and that like got my heart. That got my blood pressure raised, and I'm like, not this again. But yeah, I do hope we go to under center. We've talked about it for over a year now. It's time.
Yeah, absolutely, it is time. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic here on the Purple Rain Report, which is kind of the happiest news of today. The Ravens extended Justin Tucker, so the GOAT kicker, the greatest of all time, and I don't think it's even a debate right now, honestly.
No.
I mean, Justin Tucker, greatest kicker of all time. Now he is the highest paid kicker of all time. You guys can see the tweet right here by Adam Schefter. Ravens are giving Pro Bowl kicker Justin Tucker a 4-year, $24 million extension that includes $17.5 million guaranteed and $11.5 million signing bonus per source. So that's wow.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
That's why
what say
he's
you
the
guys?
GOAT. Come on now. That one video that guy screamed, that was me when he got that. I was so happy. I mean, I thought I thought it was for somebody else. Honestly, I thought the extension was for somebody else. But you know what? Tucker, hell yeah, he'll be here till he's 38. He's the best in the business. Simple as that.
Ravens seem to take care of our own. It's very rare that those guys get away that are homegrown Ravens, unless you're an outside linebacker, right? We let those guys go. Right?
Oh man.
If you're an outside linebacker, it doesn't apply. But it seems like we take care of our own in a lot of ways. And correct me if I'm wrong. Was Tucker undrafted?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, imagine you're an undrafted guy, and at some point in your career, you get an $11.5 million signing bonus. It's an unbelievable career trajectory. How many undrafted free agents have ever signed a contract like that?
Yeah. Wow.
That's a good question. It's a great question, honestly. And I think that this extension and like the magnitude of it, like the amount of dollars, a lot of that has to do with that kick in Detroit. No, do you guys agree with that? Because that was one for the books right there.
I think that, and then I actually just seeing him talk about, I forget who he's talking about it with, going over that, how like he did a little skip to get some more power. Hearing that, I could hear people talk about kicking. Like, I'm a huge soccer fan. Just hearing the way they kick the ball, especially with Sam Cook, like how he would punt the ball. I think that's one of the most interesting things. Hearing that,
yes, sir, absolutely.
Just how dedicated, and I don't know if they showed it in the open practice. He was on the sidelines kicking from just different angles and just nailing them 40-some yards out. I'm like, this is why he is the best, because he is just so dedicated to it and well deserved. just absolutely well deserved.
And I said this, pre-show to you, Sutton. It always makes me wonder. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist guy, when it comes to sports, when it comes to life, whatever. And it always makes me wonder, like, what else is this? Is this part one of setting the salary structure up for a period of time to then go ahead? Of course, we're all thinking, is it going to be Lamar? We're waiting for that to happen because he has said there is a point in time at which he's no longer going to negotiate during the season. I hope that's what this is. I hope that's what this is, because I would really like to see Lamar get some type of signing bonus like this, for him and his family, because I think they deserve it, because they're trying, in my opinion, him and his mother are trying to redefine the way high-level sports contracts are negotiated and let the family and the people keep more of that money as opposed to an agent. So I hope it works out for them, and I hope that this is part one to that happening.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Never thought of it that way, honestly. But that is a very good point, though. They could definitely be structuring things to get ready to pay Lamar. And we could be seeing that within the next, if that were true, we could be seeing a Lamar extension within the next couple of days or maybe a week or two,
And the bet.
Go ahead. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I would say, and the best thing, it'll come out of nowhere. That's the best thing I love about it, because there's no leaks, no nothing. We would just randomly get it.
Didn't you say, Sutton, that Tucker indicated this renegotiation took like 5 minutes?
Yep.
And I have a feeling that like Lamar's situation will be the same thing in the end. Not obviously not the lead up, because here we are,
right.
It's August, but I feel like it'll be the same for Lamar, and I can't wait for it to happen, because he deserves to be a Baltimore guy, a Ravens guy forever, because he is, he is.
Yeah. And that actually wraps it up for the Purple Rain Report. Thank you guys so much for tuning into that part. I got one more question for our guy Coach here before we let him go. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it for all your insight and everything. But one question that I definitely did want to ask you, and I posed it to you before the show: Lamar Jackson. You talk about him very, very highly in a lot of your videos, and rightfully so, right? I mean, Lamar Jackson, he's a phenomenal quarterback, but I know you watch a lot of film. You know the X's and O's more than a lot of people, right? So I want to know, what fair criticisms do you have of Lamar Jackson? Because we all, we've all got on our purple glasses. We talk very highly of him, that sort of thing. But I want to know what fair criticisms you have of him, and like, what can he do, offensively and improving his game to help the Ravens offense succeed this season?
Well, first of all, it's a good question. I think I have 2 points that I'll make. But before I make that, like, to one thing you said, I watch the film and I understand what's going on. I understand certain things. There are other people who understand other elements to the game far better than I do. And that's the one thing I think this is my first time doing this as a content creator, going through this path, and who knows, hopefully it lasts a long time. Right. But I have noticed for the Ravens community, there's so many people that come at things from a different angle. And I feel like it creates this really comprehensive look for Ravens fans. And I'm just a part of that. So when you say, like, Coach watches the film, he understands what's going on, just like anyone, I understand a certain part of it. Right. I make this comparison sometimes to people, and some people don't like it. To watch a football game and then try to analyze it is like if us three right here, if we watched a car accident happen and the police came up to us and asked us what happened, the police are probably going to get 3 different versions in a lot of ways. Yeah. And I feel like content creators are the same way. We're all approaching it from different angles. Neither one of them is wrong, really. So I'm not pushing back against you, Sutton. I'm just saying, like, I don't see everything. I see,
I guess,
and when I do see a lot of detail and I'm able to present it to people, it's probably because I've watched it 7 times. So I don't look at that as a talent. I just look at that as a lot of coffee and sleepless nights. So, but anyway, to your point, your question, 2 things, and I'll be short with them at first, and then you guys can interrupt because I am very long-winded. Number one is there are times where Lamar has always been the best player on the field, probably since he was 8. So his instinct, his football genetics are to be the best player on the field. We don't need him to be all the time, though. There are some times where I think that, I don't know how you do this. How do you turn that off? But there needs to be some times where he lets other people be a playmaker. So there would be Ravens fans who would say, well, let's go get him more playmakers. I agree with them too, So that would be part of it. And I know that's not the part of the answer you were expecting necessarily. Part 2 of that is, and I think he's been coached to throw the ball downfield. And if you listen to Harbaugh's 2 of his halftime interviews last year, when Lamar was still playing, Harbaugh said something like, "We've got to get rid of the ball quick, but we've got to push the ball downfield." It's like you're saying 2 different things, man.
Yeah.
Get rid of the ball quick, but push the ball downfield. And I feel like last year he was coached to get the ball downfield, and there was a lot of times where I say we because I'm a longtime Ravens fan, where we did not take the short stuff, like the short routes to the running backs.
Hmm.
And I don't necessarily mean like short, quick routes to receivers. I mean like showing that checkdowns. Yeah, good point, Brent. Guys that are available in an area of the field to threaten. If you guys want to add on or refute any of that, let me know. I do have a second part to that point.
Alex, what do you think?
I'm keep on going. I'm just taking this all in.
Yeah. I'm definitely listening to. I'm
Yeah.
all ears, man. Keep going.
Well, I mentioned this pre-show to you, Sutton. Maybe I should have done a video about it. But if you look at last year when the Bengals came to Baltimore and they beat us, shocking for us score-wise, but our team was incomplete, right? I mean, we were not – they're more talented than us at that time. They were.
Yeah.
However, having said that, there was an element to their defense that we didn't attack. Look at what the Jets did the next week. The Jets threw short 3-step drop passes like 30-plus times. What was the quarterback's name? Was it Mike Smith?
Mike White.
Mike White.
Mike White.
I know it was some generic last name. So, so anyway, but they also threw like 9 screens, and that worked like a charm. Am I saying we could have done that for 4 quarters against the Bengals? No, maybe not, but we could have done it more. It's when you see 2 game plans that are so drastically different. Our game plan in week 7, throw the ball downfield, attack downfield. It doesn't work. And then the very next week, someone comes with a drastically different game plan, in my opinion, my experience anyway. That means some coaches on the Jets staff saw something and decided to attack it, and it kept working. And so how do I relate this to Lamar? Because I'm still trying to answer your question. Is I think he's coached to throw the ball downfield. I still think there needs to be times where he does take the checkdowns and the shorter routes, because to me, then that'll help open up things further downfield by forcing them. Because the football field has a lot of width. It's not just long, but it's got a lot of width. Make them defend the width of the field so that then we can push the ball downfield. That's the whole concept of the spread offense. They don't mean spread vertically. They mean spread you horizontally from sideline to sideline. So right. I got one more point on it, but I'll let you guys talk because it's your show and I've been talking for 2 minutes. Sorry.
It's all good. I mean, I have no problems with that. I think that's definitely a great point you make. Do you think that's more Lamar side, or was it maybe something the coaches instilled in him, or is it just a mixture of both?
And that's a great question. I think it's a mixture of both, but to the point that I'm talking about, week 7, week 8. So week 7, our loss to the Bengals. Week 8, them going to New York and laying an egg and losing.
Yeah,
I think it's more about Lamar. Here's why: because we had so much success throwing the ball downfield, leading up to that. Culminating in week 5, the home win against the Colts. We didn't need a lot of downfield passing against the Chargers. We bullied them. They were a soft defense last year. So leading into that Cincinnati game, we were of the mindset that we have the ability to throw the ball downfield on people, and we've been successful at it. We did not adjust at all. We've had time. That's one of the things about football. Once the season starts, as a fan, we get 6 days between games or 7 days, 6 or 7, however you look at it, to watch game. Coaches don't get that. Players don't get that. The coaches got to immediately turn around the next day and make a game plan. I don't think our coaches adjusted after that game, recognizing like, let's start throwing the ball short some, get it out of Lamar's hands. I know what some people are going to say in the chat. Our running backs weren't talented. A 6-yard gain is a 6-yard gain, guys. It creates 2nd and 4. It puts us right on schedule. And if I were to have a criticism of Lamar, it would be those 2 things: throw the ball short more, and then also not have moments where how do I say this? Like, you don't have to be the best player all the time, but that's who he is. If you've ever played basketball, like I'm a big basketball guy, and whoever the best player on the basketball court is, he's going to show you during the course of a game.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of who Lamar is. So I feel like, and again, this is another, not to beat a dead horse, but the stretch boot system under center would how do I say it? It would force Lamar to hand the ball off if it's a called handoff. That's kind of the reason why I'm not a big fan of the pistol option. Lamar gets to make a decision whether to give the ball or keep it. I think we should remove that level of responsibility from him because he is a playmaker. So, forgive me for going long-winded. He's my favorite player. He's been my favorite player even pre-draft 2018. But absolving him of responsibility on some level, I think, would create, more sustainable offense because other people be touching the ball more.
Yeah,
I love that.
Definitely
I couldn't
agreed.
answer anything more.
Definitely agreed. Now, I do have a question for you. I mean, you talked a lot about the the stretch boot that you would like Lamar Jackson to incorporate into his game, or at least the Ravens offense to incorporate into Lamar Jackson's game. I know a lot of teams, knowing that they're facing against Lamar Jackson, they are going to be trying their hardest to do whatever they can to contain him around the edges. So, off a boot, if he, fakes the handoff to the running back and he's running to the other side, curling around, if he has a guy barreling down on him,
correct.
How do you think that would bode for our offense? I mean, do you think it's just his athleticism that allows him to just kind of void out that first guy and then make a play, or like, how do you foresee that going? Because I can see teams game planning for that too.
Of course, yeah, they would take the D end and say, you see run action away from you, run at Lamar, meet him. I'll be honest with you, that's what I did. That as a defensive coordinator, that's what we did. So yeah, what does that do? What opens up the cut back for the running back if it's a run play? Yeah. At some point, look at because the system we're describing, and it sounds like you guys have kind of called for as well, is very similar to what Peyton Manning ran with the Colts for years. Stretch, outside zone, run game, and a boot to the other side. Certainly Peyton Manning was no run threat, right?
Right.
Nonetheless, that system still worked. And I'm not saying, Sutton, that, your question is moving us towards like, hey, would that system not work? But let's just throw Lamar Jackson. Let's just translate him into that Colts offense. He would just add an element, with the speed. He would just add an element that wasn't there previously. So to me, the pistol zone read stuff, we run that to threaten you with, the dive back, the running back, or the quarterback running around the edge. You accomplish the same thing with the stretch game. The only difference is, and I don't know if you guys watch my videos that much lately, but the conflict that the defense is in it lasts about 3/4 of a second longer. So the linebackers and the D end have a longer period of time where they don't know who has the ball. Versus the pistol option, it happens right now. You can see it. Like I'm actually standing here, like turning my body, like as if I'm the quarterback. And the ball stays there within about a 3-foot area of where Lamar begins pre-snap. The ball moves. The quarterback's body moves in the stretch zone system, so that forces the defense to move to match what he's doing. So in terms of your answer, also would be the split zone. So what you're talking about is a D end running at Lamar. We would run split zone. So the D end, if he's coached to run, the running back goes away. If he's coached to run at Lamar, then we would take a tight end and cross the field, and the tight end would read that D end, and the running back it'd be a designed cutback. So that would be my answer to that.
Okay.
Among other things, but no, awesome question.
Absolutely. Just awesome response. Awesome responses throughout this entire episode, and we want to just personally thank you again for coming on to the show. We appreciate it so much, man. All your insight that you brought to this episode is just, like I said, man, it's second to none. We appreciate that. And we do have a super chat donation here coming from our guy, Gerald. Thank you so much, Gerald. We appreciate you for not only pulling up to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast, but also showing up and showing out, supporting, donating, as you always do, man. Pulling up from the logo from downtown, like Steph Curry, man. We appreciate you, man. Says, thank you for inviting the coach, and I just want to take this time to show some love towards my two guys, Sutton Def and Simply AS10. Thank you, Gerald. We appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Love to you as well. And also, a lot of love to our guy, All 22 Coach. Listen, you can go ahead and subscribe to him on YouTube. You guys heard it. He knows his football. He knows his stuff. You can go on YouTube, subscribe to him at all_22_films, like you see right there on the screen. Also, if you don't feel like doing that, you can scroll right down on this video. Look at the description. A link to his channel is already right there. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to him. Check out his film, because listen, he breaks down a whole lot of stuff when it comes to Ravens. And there's a lot of answers to questions that you probably have in your head right now on his YouTube channel. So make sure you go ahead and check him out. And again, Coach, we appreciate you for coming through.
Yes. Yes.
No, thank you guys, man. And just to jump on to one thing from earlier is, I obviously don't have all the answers, and one of the things
Yeah,
that's helped me analyze film better is the feedback in YouTube comment sections, and people like yourself or others whose shows I've gone on. They may ask a question, and maybe 2 hours from now or tomorrow, I'll be like, "Oh man, I wish I could have answered that question a little better." And so, to me, having these things available is a real blessing for us to be able to meet virtually and discuss these things, which, when I first started coaching, how you did things, everything like this was in person. So the learning is accelerated for other people, hopefully through my videos, but also myself. So, thank you guys for having me on. And it's a process, at all times of trying to, find the right way to make it attractive to other people, and hopefully improve my own learning at the same time.
Yeah.
Got it
Absolutely,
down.
man. Right. A lot of things you say, can't say it any better. Can't say it any better.
Appreciate it, guys.
So we appreciate you coming through. We'll catch you next time, Coach. All right.
Thank you.
man.
Thank you.
All right. Peace. That is Coach from All 22 Films. Make sure you go on YouTube, subscribe to him at all_22_films. Man, great stuff from him. Great stuff from him.
I think personally, they're those channels that study film are like the most underrated. Because coming from me, I know it's hard. Like I could not do it. It's just hearing him talk about that for me is like in a class. It's in a class that I like because I'm taking it all in. I'm visualizing the plays in my head. I love that personally.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Let's see here. What else we have from you guys? Yeah, you guys giving some love to Coach DC for sure. Absolutely. April123 says, hit that like button. Of course, we got over 100 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. There's going to be a lot of Ravens content coming your way, as you can see on my whiteboard right here. How many days until Ravens football, Alex?
3
days.
3 days.
3 days until the Ravens take on the Titans in the first preseason game. Of course, you know what, Alex? I guess we can kind of pivot to this, kind of previewing that, right? We do have one more episode before that preseason game. It'll actually be right before on Thursday. We'll have to talk about that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of pivoting to that game. Of course, we know that there won't be a whole lot of starters playing. Of course, it's been confirmed. Lamar Jackson's not playing. Of course, the likes of JK Dobbins, all these other guys. None of these guys are playing. I guess what are your expectations? What do you expect to see out of Thursday's preseason game against the Titans?
Well, I've told you this is my favorite part of the season, honestly. Just because I'm gonna get to see guys like Jalen Moore, who I cannot wait to see. I think he's a dark horse to be wide receiver 5 or maybe 6. Who knows what goes on with Bolden or Bridges? But just the young guys ball out. The young guys there have everything to play for. Some of these guys I think Raleigh Webb went to this school that I never heard of before. So who knows, what happens. He could ball out and make the roster. But one thing I'm definitely keeping my eyes on is the running backs. We don't know who's going to make the team, honestly, because we know JK and Gus are going to be there. But who else? We drafted Beatty. We signed a veteran in Mike Davis, Clement, and then you have McCrary. It's just there's so many things going on with the running backs. And then, honestly, also our defensive backs, because outside of Marlon and Marcus, we saw it last year. It was bad. I almost cursed there, but it was poor. It was very poor. We signed Fuller, but we see Armour Davis, Pepe Williams. I want to see more out of those guys. I want to see a secondary that hopefully we don't have to go digging into like Wink Martindale called them. His words, not mine. Digging into the DoorDash drivers. All right, that's what he called them. That is his words.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was kind of messed up for Wink. Come on now.
Oh my gosh.
But that's what I'm looking forward to. But I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah, I mean, me too, for sure. I mean, and you make a good point about the secondary. I do want to see them, because I mean, these are depth guys that we're going to be seeing on the secondary on Thursday night. I want to see them completely lock down, shut down the Titans passing offense. Yeah. Just, because it will show you right then and there that, like, hey, if we do need one of these guys to step up at some point throughout the season, we've got guys who are, kind of proven. Chris Westry comes to mind from last season. That was our guy. But I mean, he was okay when he got back, right? He was all right, but decent depth guy. That's what we're looking for. Who is going to be, I guess you could say the good backups, They're
Yeah.
the backups, right?
I mean, you need them to be successful. You need them.
I'm interested to see, because I know Tyler Huntley's probably going to play. You know, he's going to play. I want to see that. Hopefully, we'll see some Isaiah Likely. We'll see a Likely sighting. You know, hopefully we'll see that. But other than that, not expecting too much. I do expect us to win, of course. Ravens not losing a preseason game since when, Alex? What was the last time?
2015.
2015.
I was a sophomore in high school in 2015. The last time we lost it. I'm about to graduate college.
Hey, see,
A lot's changed.
A lot's changed. Exactly. But yeah, let's see. I think we can go ahead and talk about our. Can we get into our questions from the rain game?
Yeah, actually, I want to bring up some news that kind of just came out right now.
Oh, really? Breaking news?
Well, it's not about the Ravens, but it's about somebody we're going to be playing. Jets offensive tackle Mekhi Becton's knee injury is more concerning than the team believed. It's a new injury. So we're going to be playing him week 1.
Is that left tackle or right tackle?
I'm not sure. Listen, I don't know that much about the Jets, I'll be honest.
Right.
It just has offensive tackle. I can see.
Well, then.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate for Mekhi Becton and the Jets.
Left tackle. Okay. So that's what we playing week 1 with an Odafe Owe out there. He can start out that double-digit sack season pretty well.
Oof, man, I really would love to have Odafe Owe go out there, get himself a sack or two in that season opener.
Get
the hat trick.
Wow.
3 sacks in the first game, man. Oh my goodness. I might declare a Super Bowl run right then and there, honestly. I mean, just being honest, Alex. But yeah. Let's see here. Actually, Alex, I wanted to ask you, have you saw any of the seen any of the UFC fights recently?
I watched the first 2 this past weekend, then I knocked out. I absolutely knocked out. I was tired.
Yeah. It was actually a pretty good main event this past weekend. Thiago Santos versus Jamal Hill. They actually got fight of the night. First 5-round fight for Jamal Hill, but it was a war. And then in the 4th round, Jamal he caught him, kind of backed him up, sat him down, got the TKO finish. So I mean, I'm definitely excited to see what Jamal Hill has to do next, or who he has to fight next in that light heavyweight division, because it's kind of heating up. But are there any fights that you do have your eye on that you're excited for coming up?
I'll be honest, I'm only on football, and soccer just started back up, unfortunately. That's why but I'm still gonna have to watch it. I'm still gonna have to. I saw.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let me not lie. Let me pull it up. You can get some questions. I'm gonna pull up and let you know which one it was because I forgot it.
Okay. I'm gonna start bringing up some questions here from the Rain Gang. Let me see what you guys are saying. First, from our special guest from this episode, All 22 Film says, "Thanks again, guys. Appreciate the invite and shout out. Great time talking Ravens football." Absolutely.
Love that.
I mean, love that from him. Give us a lot of great information. So, Coach, we do appreciate you again.
Thank you.
Let's see. Terry Mitchell says, "What's up, Sutton? Simply, I had 2 questions. Do you think it would be smart if we added a linebacker to be specific middle linebacker? And what undrafted free agent are you most excited to see? For me, it's Mekhi Polk."
I'm gonna go for undrafted. I think Shamar Bridges is up there for me. And speaking of linebacker, from Auburn, Zacoby McClain. I like the way he played. But I think the undrafted receivers, all of them I'm excited about because they've all been making their plays. It hasn't just been one standing out. It's been all of them making plays. So that's what the preseason's for, and that's why I love it so much because we're going to, not a lot of fans keep an eye on the undrafted guys, but I know we do, so we can look at them a little bit more closely.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's also Mekhi Polk. I think I said it on the previous episode of the show. I watched a breakdown that another coach did, Coach Ivan Evans. I mean, Sip to Tally Films. He was in here earlier. He did a breakdown on Mekhi Polk, which was really good and kind of got me excited about him. So that would be my answer for which undrafted free agent that I'm most excited about. In terms of us adding a specific middle linebacker, I don't really foresee it happening, honestly. I think we go into the season with our guys. Patrick Queen, Malik Harrison, Bynes. I think we're going to rock out with them. It's unfortunate we haven't seen our guy LJ Fort sign back yet, or at all. But yeah, I don't foresee them necessarily adding another linebacker. Maybe like mid-season or something if they really start to have struggles. But yeah, not before the season.
It's actually funny that Coach CC brought up how like he was a fan of Lamar before he was Raven. That's how I was with Patrick Queen. That's why I like root for him. Like I remember watching him at LSU, and now that we got him, like I'm rooting for even more. But I hope this is his year. I really do. Big fingers crossed.
Yeah. Let's see. Chike says, also, what are your thoughts on Marcus Peters potentially getting traded for a draft pick in next year's draft because he only has 1 year left on his contract and will be 30 if he gets an extension?
Nah, I would not like that. It's instincts. I need that on my team.
Yeah, I mean, definitely agreed there. I mean, we saw it last season, just the sheer lack of turnovers, right? That's a big focus, I think, area of importance that we need to focus on this season for the defense. Create turnovers. You know, turnovers are like touchdowns for defenses. Like if you create more of those, you're going to win more football games. Yeah, just quite simple as that. And Marcus Peters, he is a guy who can sniff out a play, read a quarterback's eyes. Hell, he did it to Russell Wilson beautifully a couple years back, and he can get those interceptions, create those turnovers. Yeah. All right. See what else you guys are asking here down here in the chat. Yolanda saying I'd be super sad if we traded Marcus Peters for sure.
Heck yeah. And we also saw 100 people watching and 64 likes. Can we get to 70?
Please, and thank you. Please and thank you. All right, let's see what else we have from you guys. Brent asking the question, you think Jalen Armour Davis is going to be in the preseason game?
I saw he was limited in practice today.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good one. This could be a 50-50. Yeah. I'm not too sure which one. I don't know. But I'm going to go, it's 50-50, 100%. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, hopefully we can see a little bit of him if he is ready to go, because I would like to see what he does against another team, like actual real competition for sure. He's one of my sleepers for our rookie signings this season. I really like, kind of his work ethic, his background of Jalen Armour Davis. So I think he can actually come in and be a very productive player for us in that secondary. Like we said, we're looking at depth for this preseason game, these first couple preseason games, honestly. So we want to see what he can do. We'll take a couple more questions here before we go ahead and close out this episode of the show. See what else you guys are saying here. Basically, shout out to the replay gang as well. I have not given a shout out to the replay gang all episode long. If you're not watching live right now, you're part of the hashtag replay gang. We thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode 128 of the Purple Rain podcast. We do have another super chat donation. This one's coming from Asmodeus. Thank you so much, man. Making it rain here. It says, for your Korean fried chicken starter needs, time for football. The Korean fried chicken.
Yes.
Okay.
Love that.
Yeah. Love it.
Spitting.
Have you ever been to a Korean barbecue, Alex?
Damn right I have. Multiple.
Is it good? I've never been.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like, go with some good people, have some fun. It's amazing.
Isn't there like a cooking aspect that you have to do yourself or something?
That's
like that?
Iron Age. But there is different. There's, where is, I think in Ellicott City, there's a couple where I've been to. They're very good, and you don't have to cook in front of you. But if you want to cook in front of you, go with like 5 other people. It's a great time. You won't regret it.
Nice. Okay. Thank you so much, Asmodeus, for your super chat donation. We appreciate you. We do have another super chat donation. This one's coming from Yolanda, the Purple Rain Pioneer herself. Just stamped it a couple episodes ago. Thank you so much, Yolanda. Thank you so much for just supporting, donating, showing up and showing out each and every episode. We appreciate that to no end. We really do. Says thank you for the collab with Coach DC. Absolutely.
And even the collabs in general. I know some communities don't like collabs because there's like an aspect of like competing against each other. There's no competing. Like,
right.
We're all here for the same thing to support our team. So
right. It's all love. That's the Ravens fans, like, community, Ravens flock, all that. The Rain Gang, Team Keep It Clean from Engraven. You got the guys who watch LBHT. Yeah. Everybody, like, we all just kind of rally around each other, and that's why, like, I love the Ravens community, because it's like he said, it's no competition. We're just all trying to, just build each other up, which I love. Yeah, I love that. And thank you so much, Yolanda, again for your donation. We appreciate that. Let's see. Asmodeus with another super chat donation. Thank you so much. Again, ×2. Asmodeus 2 times. Says, let's go to Korean barbecue together one of these days.
Dog.
I'm your resident Asian guy.
Dog, what is
I
up
would love
with
that.
it? I am
I would
so
love that.
talk some Ravens ball while eating some good food. It doesn't get much better than that. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah. Speaking of Ravens football as well, I know personally I will be at the Baltimore Ravens versus Washington Commanders preseason game. Tickets are already booked and everything. So if you will be at that game, make sure you hit me up on Instagram or whatever. I'd be definitely down to link up with you guys, chop it up about football. But yeah. Let's see. What else do we have from you guys? Mike posing a question here says that being that no team has won a Super Bowl when their starting quarterback accounted for more than 12.61% of their cap, do you think it's wise to quote unquote throw the bag at quarterbacks? I mean, I think it's just the fact that now, Mike, more than ever, you have to throw the bag at your quarterback. If your quarterback does anything even slightly impressive, i.e. Justin Herbert, never been in the playoffs, right? But I mean, he threw for 5,000 yards, had some pretty big boy throws in his past couple seasons. So, he's going to get paid the bag. He's in line to get paid the bag. So it's not really necessarily about what it's wise to do, because you kind of have to in this day and age. But Alex, what do you think about that?
Yeah. I think of last year. I mean, I know Stafford got money, made it Super Bowl. Burrow obviously on the rookie contract. Then Mahomes got the bag after he won a Super Bowl, made it again. I think it depends. The quarterback, like, you can't just be paying any Joe Schmo the bag. They got to be proven. I think who we have is proven. There is parts of his game that I would love to see him improve on, but yeah, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Joshua Brown says, what would y'all think we will replace CoCap? Or who would y'all think we will replace CoCap?
I'm going to go Tony Jefferson on special teams. I think he's even said he's going into this offseason like he's an undrafted free agent. And with the safeties we got, he could definitely get more playing time on special teams.
That's interesting. That's very, very interesting you say that, honestly. Because that wasn't one of the names that I was thinking of for CoCap. I was thinking, how do you feel about it like a Calais Campbell?
On special teams?
Oh no, not for special teams. No, just like overall, because like CoCap is like,
my AirPods died. I'm sorry. That's why I'm like going.
Oh no, you're good.
Forth. Yeah.
You're good. I thought the question was more so like who's gonna actually officially take that tag as co-captain, or somebody already done it.
Nobody has, no, but for like a captain wise, I can see obviously Calais is our leader on the defense, but I mean, all around I still got Tony because he's been here for so long.
Gotcha.
Levine was here since 2012. But somebody else, I guess, that really wouldn't surprise me. If he's still here, I know Chuck Clark because he just knows a lot about the defense. But I think Calais, if we're talking leader wise, far and away, Calais.
Okay. I like that. I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there for this episode of the Purple Rain podcast, episode 128. Thank you guys so much for coming through. The Don is in the house and spitting facts, absolute facts. And Fire says, hit that like, everyone. Absolutely. Hit the like button if you have not already. And if you did enjoy this episode of PRP, episode 128, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well if you have not already. We would appreciate that. A lot more Ravens content coming your way as the season is only 3 days away. You can see right here up on my whiteboard. So yeah, we appreciate you guys for coming through to this episode. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, just like you see down below or up top there. You can follow my guy Simply on Twitter at SimplyAS10 or on Instagram at SimplyAS10.prod. You can follow us on Instagram at The Purple Rain Podcast. Lastly, do not forget, you can head over to manscaped.com, use the code PRP to save 20% off of your Manscaped order. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
And as always, hope everybody has a great week. Start of a great week for everybody. And the usual, stay positive, test negative, and one more thing.
Never, ever, ever forget to call God. By the way, our guy Justice Hill, he had that t-shirt on that says stay positive.
I need to get that shirt. I need to get that shirt. I need to know where we can find it. I would wear it. Need that.
Yeah, we need that. But don't forget to call God, everyone. This has been episode 120.